This self-awareness also manifests in the film's numerous homages to the horror and science fiction films of the past.
Seen it once, don't remember when. Think it's time to watch it again. Follow, subscribe, stay up to date. Episodes drop the last Friday. It's a Matt, forgot that. It's a Matt, forgot that. It's a Matt, forgot that podcast.
Welcome to the Matt Forgot That podcast, the place to recollect and reminisce. I'm your host, Matt Seroski, filmmaker, film fan. Each episode, I'm going to rewatch and review a movie or TV pilot that I've seen before but don't quite remember. It could be a blockbuster, critic's choice, or cult classic. To join in on the conversation, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Matt Seroski. You can subscribe to my YouTube page where I'll post videos and clips from the show. If you have any opinions on what I've reviewed, or want to share your own trip down memory lane, use the hashtag MattForgotThat on social. Before we start, the marketing campaign for the Blair Witch Project back in 1999 is widely considered one of the most innovative and influential marketing strategies in the history of cinema. The film, a low-budget, found-footage horror movie about three filmmakers who disappear while investigating the legend of the Blair Witch, had an extraordinarily limited budget, around $60,000. Despite this, the film grossed nearly $250 million worldwide, largely due to the ingenuity of its marketing campaign. The film's marketing team leveraged the growing power of the internet to spread the word and create buzz. In 1999, the internet was still relatively new to mainstream audiences, and the Blair Witch Project capitalized on the emerging online community by employing a viral marketing strategy that blurred the line between fiction and reality. The creators launched a website, which became a critical component of the marketing effort. The site presented the story of the film as if it were a real event. It included fictional news reports, photographs, interviews with the real family of the missing filmmakers, and even police reports. This approach convinced many early visitors that the events in the film were not entirely fictional, but based instead on real-life occurrences, effectively creating a sense of mystery and intrigue around the film. The filmmakers produced a documentary-style video that further suggested the film was based on actual events. The campaign included interviews with convincing experts in paranormal phenomena and rumors about the fate of the filmmakers. To make the film feel like an actual missing persons case, posters for the three main characters were distributed in several cities, further fueling the belief that the story was real. The success of the Blair Witch Project's marketing campaign has had a lasting impact on how movies are marketed, particularly in the horror genre. Other movies such as Cloverfield and Paranormal Activity would follow similar strategies in the years that followed. The campaign also set a precedent for low-budget films to achieve massive box office success without the need for expensive advertising. The Blair Witch Project proved that with the right mix of mystery, innovation, and audience engagement, a film could reach a massive audience and become a cultural phenomenon even on a small budget. On to the main attraction. Each review will end with a ranking out of 5 stars. 1 star is skip it, 2 stars watch at your own risk, 3 stars standard fare, 4 stars worth checking out, and 5 stars must see. Now, if I give a title 5 stars, it doesn't mean I'm comparing it to Casablanca, Jaws, or Seinfeld. I rank titles based on other movies or TV series in that genre and at that time period. On this episode of the podcast, I'm rewatching and reviewing Night of the Creeps from 1986. It was written and directed by Fred Dekker in his directorial debut. The film is a self-aware horror comedy and a loving homage to 1950s and 60s B-movies, featuring an alien invasion, zombies, and space slugs. Though it underperformed commercially, it has since become a cult classic. His follow-up film was The Monster Squad, which he directed and co-wrote with his friend Shane Black. This film is a family adventure horror comedy about a group of preteens who battle classic Universal movie monsters, including Dracula, Frankenstein's monster, the Mummy, and the Wolfman. Like his debut, it was a box office disappointment upon release, but later gained a large, dedicated cult following. Decker wrote the original story for the comedy horror film House, and its sequel, House 2, The Second Story. He wrote the story for the neo-noir cop thriller Ricochet in 1991. He was a prolific contributor to Tales from the Crypt, the popular HBO horror anthology series, writing 4 episodes and directing The Thing from the Grave. Decker co-wrote with Frank Miller and directed the 3rd installment of the RoboCop franchise. He's noted that the studio's mandate for a PG-13 rated film hampered its success, which was not well regarded by critics or audiences, and is often cited as an obstacle in his career. After a long hiatus from directing, Decker made a return to the world of filmmaking with a co-writing credit on Shane Black's The Predator. It stars Jason Lively as Chris Romero, the main protagonist. Prior to this role, he played Rusty Griswold in National Lampoon's European Vacation, and appeared in 2 episodes of The Dukes of Hazzard. He would go on to co-star in B-action movie Maximum Force. Jill Whitlow plays Cynthia Cronenberg, Chris's love interest. Her debut film was teen comedy Porky's, and would have small roles in Mask and Weird Science. She appeared in the after-school teen soap opera Tribes for 65 episodes. Steve Marshall portrays JC, the quirky best friend of Chris, whose devotion adds depth to the film's emotional core. Marshall's acting career was relatively short-lived, with notable roles in Night Heat and 21 Jump Street. Tom Atkins delivered an unforgettable performance as the tough, wisecracking Detective Ray Cameron, quickly becoming a beloved genre figure. Known for his work in horror films such as The Fog and Halloween 3: Season of the Witch, Atkins remains a cult favorite for his gritty, everyman presence in horror cinema. Night of the Creeps also features Dick Miller, Alan Kayser, Wally Taylor, David Paymer, and Bruce Solomon. So let's jump into it. This is what I remember. Your dates are here, one of the best lines and the biggest laughs in the movie. And of course, then you have the special effects. Now, these were the days of practical, no CGI, and these are great. They're very visceral. You can see every gruesome pore. It's really a fantastic movie for effects. Now I'm heading off to rewatch the movie. This is what I forgot. The film begins in 1959, when a group of alien creatures, parasitic slugs, escape from a spaceship and crash land on Earth. These slugs are capable of entering human bodies through the mouth and turning their hosts into zombie-like creatures. Fast forward to the 1980s, where 2 college students, Chris and JC, are trying to impress a sorority girl named Cynthia. In their attempts, they accidentally unearth one of the alien slugs that has been dormant for decades. When the slug escapes, it infects a recently dead body and transforms the person into a rampaging zombie. As the slugs begin to spread, Chris, JC, and Cynthia team up with Detective Ray Cameron, a tough, no-nonsense cop who is linked to the horror of the creature's past. The group races against time to stop the alien invasion, battling grotesque zombies, and surviving an escalating series of terrifying and absurd events. Here's a quote without context. "Look, detective, I don't mean to be rude or anything, but other than just wanting to confess to a murder, is there any point to this story?" Night of the Creeps is a multi-layered film that blends a variety of genres: science fiction, horror, and comedy. It's a love letter to the B-movie era of the 1950s, while also embracing the tone and sensibilities of 1980s horror. The film's plot, an alien slug invasion that turns its host into zombies, is pure B-movie science fiction, yet it's presented with a tongue-in-cheek tone. Decker's film feels like it's consistently winking at the audience, acknowledging its own absurdity. This self-awareness also manifests in the film's numerous homages to the horror and science fiction films of the past. However, what sets Night of the Creeps apart is that this body horror is presented in a campy, almost playful manner. The film doesn't dwell too heavily on the psychological terror associated with body invasion. Instead, it emphasizes the grotesque visuals and the absurdity of the situation, creating a unique juxtaposition of fear and humor. Detective Cameron's role is crucial in reminding the characters and the audience that survival is possible even in the most absurd circumstances. Cameron's experience with the supernatural gives him a particular edge when it comes to fighting the alien threat. Night of the Creeps is a quintessential example of 1980s horror comedy. The film manages to entertain while offering a deeper commentary on survival and camaraderie. It's a film that celebrates the absurdity of horror, turning the genre's most chilling elements into something fun, lighthearted, and undeniably entertaining. Now for a little trivial trivia. The last names of the main characters are based on famous horror and sci-fi directors: Romero, Carpenter, Hooper, Cronenberg, Cameron, Landis, Raimi, and Miner. Night of the Creeps was produced by Charles Gordon, executive on Die Hard, and distributed by TriStar Pictures. It was filmed at Griffith Observatory, California State University Northridge, Royce Hall, and the University of Southern California, all in the Los Angeles area. The cinematography was captured by Robert C. New, whose filmography includes slasher horror Prom Night, B-action drama Lionheart, and episodes of family mystery So Weird, and vampire horror Blade the Series. It was edited by Michael K. New, who worked on slasher horror A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master, boxing drama Rocky V, adventure fantasy Highlander Endgame, and episodes of Marvel series Iron Fist, The Defenders, Daredevil, and Jessica Jones. The score was composed by Barry Dvorak, who wrote the music for psychological drama Rolling Thunder, action thriller The Warriors, musical fantasy Xanadu, and teen comedy Mischief. The soundtrack featured songs by Paul Anka, The Platters, Jane Wiedlin, and The Diamonds. The runtime is 1 hour, 22 minutes. It grossed $591,000 at the box office. On the Ski Index, I give it 3.5 out of 5 stars. Add half a star if you're prone to liking cult classics. If you've seen Night at the Creeps and have opinions on the movie, let me know what you think using the hashtag #MattForgotThat. Moving right along, each episode, I'm going to post throwback clips that I think people should watch. It could be movie trailers, music videos, interviews, or something completely random. Search for my YouTube page and there'll be a playlist called Matt Forgot That Playback. Known as the Prince of Darkness, Ozzy Osbourne is one of the most influential figures in rock history. From his early days as the frontman of Black Sabbath to his solo career and cultural status as a larger-than-life personality, Ozzy's journey through music, fame, and controversy has been nothing short of legendary. His distinctive voice, rebellious spirit, and fearless approach to rock and roll have made him a symbol of hard rock and heavy metal for generations. Born John Michael Osbourne in Birmingham, England, Ozzy came from a working family. He grew up in a tough environment with limited opportunity and a troubled youth. Osbourne struggled with dyslexia and was often bullied, but music provided an escape. He started his musical journey by joining several local bands before finally becoming the frontman of Black Sabbath in 1968. With his haunting vocals and stage presence, Ozzy became the defining voice of Black Sabbath, which alongside guitarist Tommy Iommi, bassist Geezer Butler, and drummer Bill Ward, would help pioneer heavy metal. Black Sabbath's self-titled debut album is often considered one of the first heavy metal records, establishing the dark, ominous sound and themes that would define the genre. The band followed up with a series of groundbreaking albums such as Paranoid, Master of Reality, and Volume 4, with hits like Iron Man, War Pigs, and Children of the Grave. Throughout the 70s, Black Sabbath cemented their place in rock history. However, tensions within the band, coupled with Ozzy's struggles with substance abuse, led to his departure from Black Sabbath in 1979. Ozzy Osbourne embarked on a successful solo career that would see him become a global rock icon in his own right. His debut solo album, Blizzard of Oz, introduced a new era for Ozzy, marked by his partnership with guitarist Randy Rhoads, whose virtuosity helped shape the sound of the album. The record was a commercial and critical success, with tracks like Crazy Train and Mr. Crowley became staples of his catalog. Ozzy's blend of catchy hooks and dark, surreal lyrics helped him carve out a niche in the hard rock and heavy metal landscape. Osbourne released Diary of a Madman in 1981, another highly successful album. Tracks like Over the Mountain and Flying High Again became anthems for fans around the world. Rhodes' tragic death in a plane crash in 1982 marked a dark chapter in Ozzy's career, but he bounced back with several more successful albums, including Bark at the Moon, The Ultimate Sin, and No Rest for the Wicked, solidifying his position as a top-tier rock star. The 1990s were marked by both career highs and personal struggles. Ozzy's music continued to evolve, with albums like No More Tears and Osmosis, experimenting with more contemporary rock. In 1992, Ozzy helped create Ozzfest, a touring metal festival that featured a mix of established bands and rising stars, and quickly became one of the most successful rock festivals in the world. Ozzfest became a platform for both Ozzy's continued relevance and the emergence of new metal acts. The early 2000s marked a major shift in Ozzy's career, as he became a cultural phenomenon not just for his music, but for his family's reality TV show, The Osbournes. The series, which aired on MTV, was a surprising hit, following Ozzy, Sharon, and their children, Kelly and Jack, through their chaotic but endearing daily lives. It humanized the wild, untamable rock star, showcasing his love for his family and his quirky, often humorous personality. The show made Ozzy a pop culture icon once again, introducing him to a younger audience and making him a household name. Ozzy Osbourne's career is marked by both extreme highs and personal lows, but throughout it all, he has remained one of the most important and enduring figures in rock music. From his time with Black Sabbath, which defined an entire genre, to his successful solo career and pop culture resurgence, Ozzy's influence stretches far beyond music. His ability to reinvent himself while staying true to his roots as the Prince of Darkness ensures his place in rock history as one of the most legendary and beloved performers of all time. I've selected a couple of clips from his biggest hits. They're all available in the Matt Forgot That playback playlist on YouTube. Check it out. Now it's time for the recommendation. Yes, that's the word recommendation with Matt in the middle. I'm going to end each podcast with my own recommendation of a movie or TV series. Today I'm talking about Freddy's Nightmares. The anthology horror TV series serves as a spin-off to the iconic A Nightmare on Elm Street film franchise, featuring the infamous Freddy Krueger as the central figure. The series was created by Wes Craven, who was the writer and director of the original film, and developed by Jeff Freilich. The show aired for 2 seasons and consisted of 44 episodes, each following a different story, with Freddy Krueger, played by Robert Englund, acting as the host and sometimes a direct participant in the eerie happenings. The series is set within the framework of the small town of Springwood, Ohio, the same fictional setting as the film franchise. Freddy acts as the show's sinister narrator, often introducing each episode with his trademark dark humor and twisted wit. He's portrayed as a godlike figure who manipulates dreams and reality, tormenting his victims in ways that range from psychological dread to outright horror. While Freddy doesn't always appear in every episode as the central character, he serves as a malevolent force that lurks just beneath the surface of the town's nightmares. The show operates in an anthology format, with each episode focusing on a new set of characters, each of whom falls victims to Freddy's nightmarish influence in some form. The stories explore different types of horror, from supernatural events and urban legends, to psychological thrillers and tragic fates that lead characters into Freddy's clutches. Although the series incorporates elements of the Nightmare on Elm Street mythos, it does not follow the continuity of the films, allowing for more flexibility in the stories. One of the reoccurring themes of Freddy's Nightmares is the line between the waking world and the dream world, which is often blurred. Much like the films, Freddy manipulates his victims through their deepest fears, often trapping them in surreal and dangerous situations. Each episode plays on the idea that Freddy is not merely a dream demon, but a force capable of warping reality itself. The series is often praised for its campy, over-the-top tone, its dark humor, and the fact that it offers fans of the Nightmare films a deeper dive into the lore of Freddy Krueger's character. However, it also received mixed reviews due to its uneven storytelling, with some episodes being more effective than others in delivering on the promise of suspense and terror. Despite its cult following, Freddy's Nightmares struggled with low ratings and was eventually cancelled after 2 seasons. It has since become a nostalgic favorite for horror fans who appreciate its blend of anthology horror, dark humor, and its connection to the Nightmare on Elm Street universe. It has been unavailable on Blu-ray or DVD for a very long time, and if you tried to get it from somewhere like eBay, it costs hundreds and hundreds of dollars. But I just recently found it on Tubi TV, so if you want to check out the series, that's where it is. That's all for this edition of Matt Forgot That. Thanks for listening to me reminisce. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Matt Seroski. You can subscribe to my YouTube page where I'll post videos and clips from the show. If you have any opinions on what I've reviewed, or want to share your own trip down memory lane, use the hashtag MattForgotThat on social. Head over to mattseroski.com for all the latest news and updates, and come back next time for the rewatch and review. Night of the Creeps from 1980. When the slug escapes, it infects a recently dead body and transforms the person into a rape-pambing zombie. Oh, what? Freddy acts as the show's sinister narrator, or narrator, if you're a normal human pronouncing the word. Chris, JC, and Cynthia team up with Detective Ray Cameron, a tough, no-nonsense cop who is linked to the terror of the Hobbarton. I don't even know what that was. Let me know what you think using the hashtag MattWafa. Nope, forgot which podcast I'm doing.